In this video, we will go over on how to easily get started with Google Classroom for remote instruction. To get started, simply go to classroom.google.com. To create your first class, click on the plus button and click Create Class. This warning will not pop up if you are using a G Suite for Education account, but for this demonstration, I'll be using a non-G Suite account. Then you'll be prompted to enter in your class information. You have the option to enter in the section information, subject, and also your room number. And once you're done, click Create. You will first see your stream page. Your stream page is essentially the dashboard to your entire Google Classroom. You can actually change the theme to your Google Classroom by clicking Select Theme. And you can pick one of the preset themes that they have in stock in their gallery. So I'll just pick this one with a backpack. You could also select a photo from your computer by clicking Upload Photo, and it will be used as your theme. In this section, you will see any upcoming assignments that are created in your classwork page that are due soon. And over here is the main part of your stream page. Generally, this is used to create announcements and also to post any activities that are coming up in your class. So when you click on it, you could actually determine who gets the announcement. So for this, it will go to all the students in the class, and you can simply type in your message. You could also add a file from your Google Drive, an external URL link, a file from your hard drive, or a YouTube video. You can post it immediately, but you could also schedule the announcement to go up at a later date. So you could pick the date and the time. But I'll post it right now. Another thing to look at here on the stream page is to click on the gear. The gear will bring you up to the class settings, so you can edit the class information. You could also change the class code. But one thing I would highly suggest to change is the stream setting. So one thing that I like to do is to change this to students can only comment. If you allow the students to post and comment, your stream page can get cluttered. So students can only comment if they have any questions, or if you prefer, only you can post and comment on your stream page. But I allow the students to comment if they have any questions. Another thing that I like to change here is to hide the notifications, because when you're creating assignments, the stream page can get cluttered with a bunch of assignments that are posted on the stream page along with the announcements, and the announcements can get lost. So I would rather hide the notifications about assignments being posted on the classwork page. And over here, you can change the gradebook settings. If you do have a G Suite account, you'll have the ability to invite guardians, and also you'll have information how to set up the Google Meet. But since I'm using a non-G Suite account, that's not visible for me. And once you're done, click Save. The next thing to look at is the classwork page. So you can simply go to classwork by clicking on this tab. And right now it's empty. So to create your first assignment, click on Create and click on Assignment. So you'll be brought over here to the assignment creation page. You can title your assignment. You can include instructions, and you can attach a file from your Google Drive, an external link, or a YouTube video, or a file from your hard drive. So I'll attach a Google Doc that I already have. And one thing that I do suggest, if you want them to work on the Google Doc, is for each student to make a copy for themselves. One thing that I highly suggest if you are differentiating assignments for students is to select the students who should be getting this specific assignment. You could assign a point value to it, and you could also assign a due date. So I'll just put a due date. You could also assign the time that it's due, and you could put it in a topic. Now, for remote instruction, I highly suggest that you label your topics according to weeks, since it will keep students organized in the Google Classroom. And one last feature that's recently been added is a rubric feature, but I will go over that in a future video because it's a little bit more involved for this video. You can assign it immediately, but you could also schedule it similar to an announcement on the stream page, but I will just assign it for now. Once you create an assignment, I have a topic because I recently created a topic, and also my assignment populates right underneath that topic. Now, to create more topics, simply click on Create and then Topic, and I highly suggest that you put in your class information as one of your topics. So that can include your syllabus, your class expectations, rules, and whatnot over here on the top. And you can organize the topics simply by clicking and dragging the topic. And I will also create another topic for week 2. Another thing that you can create is a quiz assignment. When you click on quiz assignment, you'll be brought over to an assignment creation page. It looks exactly the same as the other assignment creation page, except now you have a blank quiz that's automatically created. So I'll name this as reading quiz. And you can edit the quiz just like any other Google form. However, I'll go over this in greater detail in a future video because there's a lot of things that you can do with Google Forms in creating digital worksheets and tests and quizzes. And just like any other assignment, you can differentiate who gets it. You could assign point values to it, the due date, and assign it to a topic. So for this, since it's the quiz for week 1, I'll just put it directly week 1, and you have, again, the rubric option. And same thing with any other assignment creation page. You can assign it immediately, or you can schedule it for another date. So next thing that you can do is actually post a question for your students. Usually it's just a single question that's a short answer or multiple choice. But for remote instruction purposes, you can actually just create, how do you feel today? And students can just type in their answers on how they feel today, or you can put in a multiple choice question. And you can use this as an attendance check-in. So let's say we'll do this as the attendance for the 10th. And you could assign it as a due date for the 10th, and you will actually have an attendance check-in for that date. And let's say that attendance is due at 9 o'clock. You can put it in for that time, and students can click in how they feel. Instead of just clicking present, you can give them a how do you feel question. And it's the same as any other assignment creation page, and you could assign point values, but since it's just a check-in, just leave it as ungraded. And also students can see their classmates' responses. So one thing I highly suggest is just take this off so they won't see each other's responses, especially if it's something more private. But if it's public polls, you can probably publicize the information. And I'll leave this for week 1. And you can ask it right away, or again, schedule it. But for this, I'll ask it immediately. The next thing that you can post is material. So a material looks exactly the same, somewhat the same as an assignment creation page. However, you have functions that are removed from it because students are just viewing a material. You can title as your phonics sound chart. You can click add. You can select one of the 4 types of files that you can attach to Google Classroom, but since I have it as a file on my Google Drive, I'll click on Drive. I'll just select this as my example, and you could select who gets the file and also assign it to a specific topic. So I'll just make this as my class information. Schedule it, or you can post it immediately. The next thing that you can do in the classwork page is to reuse a post. You can reuse a post from one of your Google Classroom pages if you have another Google Classroom, or you can reuse a post within your classwork page. So let's say I want to reuse the check-in. I can simply click on that and click reuse, and then it will basically pop up to this. And let's say I want to use this again on the next day, and you can assign it the same way. There are 2 other functions on the classwork page. It's your Google Calendar, so you can post any other activities and assignments here on the calendar for your students to see. And also there is a shared class folder where students can access other assets and materials for your Google Classroom. The next thing on your Google Classroom is the People tab. So you could actually assign co-teachers to your Google Classroom. So if you have an in-support teacher or a paraprofessional in your room, you could assign them as a teacher. And of course, you should be adding students. So if you can invite your students using their emails, and if they have a G Suite account and you're all using the G Suite account platform, you can actually easily type in their names and their name should pop up. Simply click invite, and that is how you add people to your Google Classroom, either as a teacher or a student. And if you have the G Suite features enabled, you can actually invite parents and guardians. Lastly, you have the Grades tab. The Grades tab will populate any points and assignments from the classwork page. And that is pretty much it on getting started with Google Classroom. However, I do have one bonus tip for you for organizing your classwork page. So we'll simply go back to the classwork page, and I want to add some visuals to the classwork page. Sometimes this can get a little bit confusing, especially for some of our younger learners, in differentiating what is which. So if you simply click on the 3 dots and rename this and go to an emoji finding website. So I simply went to getemoji.com. There are others that you can simply look up. You can actually use an emoji to code some of your assignments. So let's say I want to use this green dot to code for class information. So I can simply select it and copy it, go back to my class page, my Google Classroom, and simply paste it and click rename. And once you do that, you now have little icons that are next to the titles. And if you want to signal an important assignment, you can just simply go find another emoji that works best for you. So let's say I want to use this red triangle to signal to students that that's an important assignment. Go in and just rename the assignment. So I'm just rename that. Just simply add the emoji, click save, and now students have a visual for what is coming up that is important. So you could put like a red triangle that's for something that's urgent. You can simply play around what works best for you. And that basically concludes how to get started with Google Classroom.